If you're here for a reason. You're here for a story time, and I'm here to deliver. This story time involves the beloved, my college, and my first ever roommate.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
All right, so I honestly, I'm sitting here right now, almost about to graduate, and it's
insane because I never thought I would make a story time like this.
I have no notes for this. This is completely off the top of my head, so trying to not name names, trying to not name drop, you know what I'm saying? We're not trying to expose people. We're just trying to tell my story. I was gonna do a whining segment on my channel, but I'm more of a beer gal. We're gonna do Angry Orchard today. Without further ado, let's just get on into it. Never in a million years would I have thought I would be talking about the person I lived with freshman year in a negative way, because I actually had a great time living with them when I did. And it's not that I regret picking to live with her. I regret the overall friendship and how it unraveled. Y'all probably think I'm talking about my girl Leah, and I'm definitely not talking about her. Just putting that out there. I feel like people probably think that. I lived with her sophomore year, and if you click this video thinking it was, you thought. So I actually picked my roommate freshman year based on the fact that we were both international students at one point. I was an international student from the ages of 3 to about 13 or 14, and she had been an international student basically her whole life in the sense of coming to the US for college. I really thought when we picked each other that this situation was gonna be honestly amazing in the sense that we both had international experiences, we have so much to relate on, and we did for a second there, I think. I think that we had a lot in common, actually. And when I say a lot, I think a lot in the aspects of what we have gone through in the sense of being abroad and just being people that are not necessarily from the US. At the time, I just didn't really consider,
And still don't
consider myself an American citizen, just because I really resonate with my Ethiopian background, and living in Tanzania, that is really a big part of who I am and shaped who I am. So I'm more African than I am American. I thought that living with someone who maybe had the same experiences as me would make the college experience a little bit better.
Psych! You thought!
But unfortunately, it didn't end up that way. The second we integrated our friend groups, that's where it all went down. She is still dating someone who I am not friends with anymore, and I think it's so funny that I kind of introduced her to the group of people that I guess she still kind of hangs out with to this day. But it is what it is. My brain is really scatterbrained throughout this whole story and timeline because I'm going back, forth, you know, but I think freshman year was a great time for us because even though we did mesh our friend groups, it was prime time. Freshman year is always prime time, I feel like, unless you go through something traumatic, but I didn't freshman year. Freshman year was lit. I feel like the issue came in once our friendship kind of transformed onwards, because sophomore year we didn't live together. Like I said, I lived with Leah and we were all kind of friends with a group of guys. And unfortunately, I feel like once I was establishing a better relationship with Leah, I think there was a little bit of animosity there and also confusion because her and I had been the only girls of the group for so long.
To clarify, we were the only girls of the group because our standards were so low that we were literally the only girls who hung out with them consistently.
And I think that kind of threw her off a little bit. It personally was really hard for me because I was just trying to be friends with everybody, and that's just my nature. I don't really have an ill bone in my body.
Unless you spark it in me.
But I don't, and I really just want to be friends with everyone, and there's no if, whats, or buts about it. If you're somebody who's there and needs a friend, I'm here for you, you know?
I love you, you love...
Psych! You thought!
And I feel like that's where we didn't align. It got really weird. Whenever I would even talk to her about stuff, it was just me ranting and ranting and ranting. I feel like I was ranting so much. She never really told me anything. I don't know if you guys have friends who let you talk so much that you never really hear what they have to say, but I feel like the responses were just so short. So this is happening, and this is happening, period. And I feel like I'm just descriptive. I tell a story. I'm like,
The grass was green and we walked here and we did this and we did that, and like,
you know, because we're friends. I want to share as much as I can with you without bringing you like on the adventure. And I just wasn't getting that from her. I feel like with my other friends, like April, Leah, Kiana, like a bunch of my friends not only listen to what I say, but like constructively criticize and help me analyze like why I think this way, like things of that nature. And that's what I do with my friends. I feel like I try to be like, not their therapist, but I try to unpack it with them as much as they unpack it with me. With her, it was just like it was like talking to a wall. Like she would just listen, and it's just like,
yeah.
And it's like, okay, but advice? Thoughts? Comments? And I just wasn't getting any of it. It's like when you put a YouTube video out for the first time and you like check back the day later and you hope there's comments and there's nothing on there. That's what that was like. We were planning to live together for the 3rd year, and without telling me, she decides to move in with one of the guys' girlfriends.
Boy, if you don't get.
And I'm over here thinking like, we're gonna get a house together, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, like all these things. And she chose the guys that I introduced her to over me.
All I'm hearing is she chose weakness over greatness. She chose poopy people over amazing people.
In the end, I did end up having issues with them over personal things that I don't really want to discuss in this video, but maybe another time I will. When that friendship crumbled with me and the guys, it was so easy for her to pick the guys. Like,
watch out for the snakes, because they literally switch up loyalty on you without letting you know. It's like, damn, let us know so I can suit up or something.
Suit up. Suit up.
now that I'm like sitting here and reflecting on it, and now that I'm like almost halfway down a glass, I'm really thinking about it, and I'm like, I feel like it was just convenient for her. I lived with her. I had these friends that she wanted to be part of and exposed to, and even though I felt like I had introduced so many people to them, which I don't mind because sharing is caring, and I don't really mind sharing my friends, especially if they can help you. I feel like she just became friends with me to basically be friends with the guys that I was friends with, and I don't know how it turned into that or why it turned into that even, but it did. And the friendship that was formed around those guys. I even myself kind of created a relationship with her based off of them. It wasn't really like we had a strong friendship before, and I think that they didn't know that. It's unfortunate to look back and think, wow, I feel like somebody basically used me, like low-key she did, you know?
She really bamboozled me and clowned me as hell, y'all. So I hope you guys watch this video and learn how to not be clowned and bamboozled by friends like I was.
I'm just lucky that at the time I had a good friend who helped me get over it. I'm not friends with that person anymore, but I've realized that people come in and out of your life for a reason, and whether that's a lesson or a blessing, you win in the end anyways. Personally, when things were going bad with her and the guy that she was involved with from that friend group, I stepped away even from him, and at one point we were really close friends, you know, and obviously now definitely not, but I feel like I learned so much, like, not to be like thank you, but honestly kind of thank her, I guess, because I did learn so much from that friendship, like so much. From that, I feel like my other friendships got stronger and stronger because I knew how to carry myself in my friendships. I knew how to like voice my complaints and things of that nature, and there was a real flip that switched once I stopped being around her.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
Especially because she was kind of, I don't know what the word is, but she was kind of like,
Yes, she is a bitch. B-I-C-T-H.
more introverted. Yeah, she was like an introverted person, and I feel like through her I started becoming like slowly introverted, but once I stopped being friends with her, my extrovertedness like came right back out, honey. She was out to party. I'm happy about that. I'm not gonna like complain about being the person I was before I came to college, because that really is who I am, and the things I, you know, was before like this college experience kind of changed my perspective on things. And I'm glad that it kind of brought me back to where I was a little bit before, in a progressed way though, obviously. Like, we can't step back. I feel like I stepped back but forward, if that makes sense. I brought my old tendencies into new habits and kind of made them a beautiful mesh pot. I feel like the best way to learn is through your experiences, because at the end of the day, your experiences are so unique that they teach you how to act, literally. Like, they teach you how to hold yourself. So I'm just glad that I'm able to like hold myself accountable for things that I do versus what other people do. I know what is my fault and I know what isn't my fault, and I feel like I'm able to hold myself with a head up high, and that didn't make sense. But when I tell you stuff went down in the DMs, it went down in the DMs, literally. And maybe one day you guys will see the receipts, but today is not the day. But I lost a lot of friends to this one roommate, and I'm not mad about it because the reason I lost the friends were not because of her, but I thought that when I ended my friendship with them that she would have stuck with me because I thought we were girlfriends, but apparently her man mattered more. And that's cool because, you know, I don't even have to say like karma, this, that, and the other, because I'm not trying to wish ill upon her, but time will tell. That is it. Time will tell if the decision you made was right, and hopefully for you, the decision you made was right. Whew. Ciao. I have so many stories to tell you guys. I don't know. I have so many. I've written a bunch down that I need to unlock eventually. And that's the exciting part about story times, is that it is my own story. It's my perspective, and take it or leave it, you know? It's not something that you have to take seriously or anything like that. I think most of story times are kind of like for entertainment, but also for me, this is helping me get over it. And hopefully if you have a friend who kind of uses you in a way that you are slowly starting to notice, but you don't really do anything about it, this is your sign to put you first. This is your sign to worry about you and you only. But I will say, this is one thing I am kind of grateful for, is I know my worth. I know that people are not worth my friendship. I know everyone is not worth my friendship now. And if my roommate could screw me over like that, whew, girl, who couldn't? She lived with me. She had so much information. She could have literally like gone through my pockets and stolen stuff and done whatever she wanted. She didn't do that, but I'm saying she could have. And she messed me up in a psychological way that really hit different for me. This was definitely a lesson, like the definition of a lesson. I mean, it is literally ABC 1, 2, 3. I learned a lot, and I learned how to handle myself. I learned how to control my feelings. And even in the past, like I used to really be free with my friendships, but no mas, because I'm being more selective with who I let into my inner circle. And that's honestly a blessing in disguise, because in the past, I literally used to give out friendship bracelets like they were candy, like literally. But I feel like I've learned from all that. I feel like in general, even that experience shows me that like, don't be too quick to jump into friendships. Like even if someone is your roommate, even if someone is around you, even if someone is your peer, your classmate, your workmate, doesn't mean you need to be friends with them. You can set a boundary of what you want your friendship to be too. And that I think is something I've learned.
Boundaries are not a bad thing. I've used to think that boundaries were so bad that you were limiting yourself, this, that, and the other. But in reality, you're not limiting yourself. You're just helping yourself have healthy relationships with those things that are around you, so you don't fall into negative patterns.
In the end, even though this happened and I was devastated, I mean, I was so depressed that I wasn't eating, wasn't doing anything. Like, I was so skinny. I mean, I guess thank you for making me skinny, but didn't do anything else for me. I would just sit there and play video games, like try to make it through the day. And it was a really rough period for a cool minute there. It was really, really, really rough. I feel like that whole situation was so manipulative, and even she was being manipulated by the guy she's currently dating. She'd be like, he's a narcissist, like him. And she would like show me all these videos of how like the guy she's talking to is a narcissist. Like, he's a narcissist, no wonder he says this, he does this, he's totally manipulating me, this, that, and the other. Literally 2 seconds later, and so that was the issue I had, I feel like, is accepting whether she was being manipulated or if she really wanted to actually like separate from me. Because anytime we would talk about like not being friends with them, she was so down for it. She was not ready to like keep being friends with them. In fact, she was ready to break it off. And honestly, if you are someone who watches my channel a lot, you can kind of deduce probably who I'm talking about. But I did have a lot of videos with like my guy friends, and like, if you can tell, they're down. But that's neither here nor there. So I don't know. I feel like I was able to find my real friendships through that though. And I think I'm definitely gonna make a video about how to spot a narcissist, because I know how to spot a narcissist now. Like from a mile away, I can literally smell narcissism on you. Don't try it. It's the audacity, honestly, for me. Like, like just thinking back on just like specific moments, and I'm like, ooh. The biggest issue for me, I think, at the end of the day was something really not pleasant happened. And I think that she didn't understand how unpleasant that situation was, because if she did, I feel like she wouldn't be with him. But if she does understand it and she's with him, that lets me know about her character. I think she knew how bad the situation was, and she still decided to be friends with them, still decided to date this guy, and it's just like, you are choosing people who are trash human beings. Trash. They're literally garbage. Garbage. And putting them above a queen, an icon, if you will. I'm sick. I'm sick of humanity. My mom warned me about her, honestly, and that's kind of why I'm pissed, because my mom knows how to spot out my friends. She'd be like, nope, no. And she was a no. But, you know me.
Everyone's great. Everyone can change. Nobody's bad, Mom.
Turns out some people actually don't want you to live your life. Turns out some people suck. I feel like that's what I learned throughout this whole experience, is that some people are just amazing people, and some people just are only there for themselves, and that's cool. Tipsy talking right now, so I'm gonna X out the video. Thank you guys so much for coming to this video. If you guys stayed till the very end, I really appreciate y'all, because I know this video was the definition of scatterbrained. I think I should just like put that in the title, because literally a bitch was scatterbrained. But I really appreciate you guys for sticking through the whole thing if you did, and even if you didn't, if you saw just part of it, if you thought it was funny, if you thought it was hilarious, if you related to it at all, comment your thoughts down below. If you guys have any bad roommate experiences, let me know, because I want to know and probably relate, because even though I didn't tell specific stories, guarantee you I can relate. I guess that's kind of a wrap, y'all. So I will just basically catch y'all on the next one, and I love you guys. Bye.
I just want you guys to watch out for those friends who literally listen to everything you say, gather all that information, and don't really share anything with you, because those are the friends who are low-key grabbing intel on you just so they can tell the CIA, but also so they can just fake you out, and you don't want that. You're worthy, and that's it. That's period. So just watch out for your energy. That's really what this whole video was meant to say. And, you know, she got the message across in some way, shape, or form. So yeah. On that note.